So friends, let's start with today's easy to make marble cake. So let's go through the ingredients. Well, here I have 125 grams of plain flour or maida, 125 grams of powdered sugar. This is about a quarter cup of 4 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. These are 3 egg yolks and 3 egg whites. This is a quarter cup or 4 tablespoons of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, 125 grams of butter at room temperature. Now all the ingredients will be given in the description box below. So to a large bowl, I'm going to add the butter which is at room temperature. I'm also going to add the powdered sugar and I'm going to mix the two really well till it becomes into a very light and pale kind of a mixture. So you can either use a whisk or a spatula like this and really mix it well, for about 2 to 3 minutes at least. Mix it till you get this lovely pale yellow color. Now we're going to add the egg yolks and again mix it in well. Now we're going to add the egg whites and mix it again. Next we're going to add our vanilla essence and again mix everything really well. Next goes in the baking powder. And now we're going to add the plain flour and again mix everything till we get a very smooth batter. Now I'm going to divide the batter into 1/3 and 2/3. So we're going to only keep 1/3 with we're going to add some cocoa. So I'm going to take the unsweetened cocoa powder and add the milk into the cocoa powder. So we get this thick kind of a paste. And we're going to add that to this batter. So we require only 1/3 of the mixture to be a chocolate color or with the cocoa flavoring, and the rest is going to be plain. So mix this in well till you get this nice and dark, rich cocoa or chocolate color. So now I've preheated my oven to 200 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, and I've also lined my loaf tin with some baking paper, parchment paper. Now I'm going to use half of the mixture of the plain batter, and I'm going to then top it up with this entire chocolate or cocoa mixture. Just even it out, and then I'm going to put the remaining plain batter on top. So even that part out also. Don't forget to preheat your oven during this time for 10 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. And then you're just going to take a sharp knife like this and just swirl it around in this manner. So this will give your cake the lovely marble effect. And now we're just going to bake this at 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. Let the cake completely cool before you demold it. And then just cut it up into these lovely slices and you will see the lovely marble effect of each slice. Now this cake is really very moist and really delicious. So do give this cake a try and let me know your feedback as to how you like this cake. So this cake also has a very long shelf life. You can keep it at room temperature in a nice airtight container for about 2 to 3 days in a nice dark and cool place. Otherwise, you can refrigerate it, and whenever you want to serve it, just keep it out for about 10 to 15 minutes. But this is a real delicious cake and you must give it a try. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in my next recipe. Bye. amazing and moist chocolate cake which is completely wet. Now I've preheated my oven for 10 minutes for 180 degrees Celsius. This is 1.5 cup of sifted flour. This is 1 cup of powdered sugar which is also sifted, as well as 1/4 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder which is again sifted. This is 1 teaspoon of instant coffee powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence or extract, 1/3 cup of melted butter, 1 tablespoon of lime juice, 1 cup of water at room temperature. Now I've also lined a baking tin or a cake tin with some baking paper. Now in a large bowl, I'm going to be first adding in my sifted flour as well as the sifted cocoa powder, and we're going to whisk this well together so that it gets mixed in well. It's very important that all of these 3 ingredients are sifted. That way your cake will be nice and smooth and moist too. Now to this, we're going to be adding the baking powder as well as the baking soda. This will make your cake really soft and spongy and airy. Again, give this a good mix by whisking it. Next, we're going to be adding in the lime juice, followed by the sifted powdered sugar. You can powder the sugar at home too in a mixer, but see that you sift it well. Next, we'll go in our melted butter. Then we're going to be adding a little bit of water to the instant coffee powder. Give it a stir and add that in well. That will make it easier to blend in with the other ingredients. Now, you will not get the coffee taste even though we are adding the coffee powder, but what it does, it elevates the taste of the cocoa and it really brings out an amazing chocolate flavor. Now we're going to be adding some vanilla essence or extract. And we're going to be adding the water. And we're going to be giving all of this a very good mix. And then you will see that it just resembles cake batter once you have mixed everything well together. Now this is just a 1 bowl recipe, so it's so simple and so easy. You don't have to whisk everything separately. Everything just goes into 1 bowl and you're done. Now, don't forget that you have to preheat your oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. That's very, very important if you want your cake to nicely get baked evenly and rise and, be a perfect cake. So it's always important to preheat your oven. And now we're just going to empty this lovely cake batter that we have prepared into our lined cake tin. Now, it's very important to, line the cake tin so that your cake doesn't get stuck to the cake tin. So ensure that you do line it with some baking paper or some parchment paper. It's very easily available in the market. And now we're going to bake this in our preheated oven for about 20 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. Now, every oven is different, so keep an eye on your cake. And just watch it from time to time that it is rising, it's not getting overcooked. And here our cake is all ready. When you put a knife or a spoon or a fork into it, it will come out very, very clean. Let the cake completely cool down for 15 minutes. Now we're going to make this lovely chocolate ganache, which is again so easy to make, and it just brings your cake to another level. Now I've taken about 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream in a saucepan. I'm going to be adding about 1 tablespoon of butter. And using a whisk, I'm going to whisk both of this on a very, very low flame. Don't leave this, otherwise it'll get burnt. You have to keep an eye on it, and just whisk in the butter into the cream, and then you will start seeing that it starts to simmer, or it starts to bubble at the edges of the cream. That shows you that your cream is ready. So till then, you just have to wait on a very low heat, simmer it till you get little bubbles at the end of on the rounds or the edges of your cream. Then you turn off your gas, again give it a slight whisk, and now I'm going to be adding about 3/4 of dark chocolate compound, which I've just grated because it becomes easier. So just using a regular grater, just grate that. And now remember, your flame is completely off. There's no heat. Just whisk in the chocolate and you'll get this amazing ganache. And now bring it to room temperature, and then you're going to refrigerate it for 15 minutes. This is very important too. So after waiting for the cake and the ganache to completely cool down, we're going to decorate our cake. So first I'm going to be demolding my cake from the cake tin, removing the baking sheet. And now I'm going to take this lovely, awesome ganache that is nicely thickened and cooled down, and just apply it or just spread it all over the cake. It's so easy to work with once you refrigerate it, and that your cake has to be cool. If your cake is hot, then your ganache is going to just drip all over because of the heat. And now I've just taken some chocolate shavings. You can use chocolate sprinkles, anything of your choice, just to decorate the cake and make it look nice and beautiful. And now just cut it up with a very sharp knife. You can also dip your knife in very hot water. That makes it easy. And after you've cut it, just wipe it down every time. It becomes easier to get clean cuts. And there it is. Your chocolate cake is all ready. It didn't even take much time to prepare. So you can keep this ready for your kids when they come home from school, for your family. You can give it to them in their tiffin, or if someone is just coming home for dinner or lunch, this is an instant dessert. And it's eggless and completely vegetarian. So I hope you like today's short and sweet cucumber cake, or tausiache mandos. It's super easy. Now here I've taken 1 cup of rice, washed it thrice well under water, and now I'm going to soak it in 3 cups of water for 2 hours at least. This is very important that you soak the rice for 2 hours. So just cover it and set it aside. Now I've taken 4 medium cucumbers. I'm just showing you 2, but I've taken 4 medium cucumbers, washed them really well, and I've also peeled them. Then I've cut off the tips and I'll do a taste test, and if the cucumbers are bitter, then please discard them. And now we're going to cut them lengthwise like this, and with a spoon I'm just going to scoop out all of the center, that is the seeds, etc. We're not going to use that. So you can, put this in your plants, etc. Don't throw it into the garbage. You can put it in your plants. Just a small tip here. And then I'm just going to roughly chop up the cucumbers. And I should get about 1 cup of these chopped cucumbers. Now you can use any cucumbers. I got my hands on these. Otherwise you can use the dark green ones or whatever you're really used to using. And now once I've done that, I'm going to add the cucumbers to a mixer jar along with 1 cup of desiccated coconut. Now you can also substitute it with fresh coconut. I like the taste of the desiccated coconut in this cake, so I'm using that. And now I'm just going to grind that to a very fine paste. Now after 2 hours, the rice has nicely got soaked, so I'm going to drain out all the excess water, and I'm going to add this to my mixer jar. And I'm also going to be adding 1 cup of grated jaggery. Now you can use any jaggery, the Goa jaggery or the light, colored jaggery, whatever you have at hand. And I'm going to just add about 1/4 cup of water to help the grinding process. And we're going to grind this to a very, very smooth and fine paste like this. So you can transfer that to a bowl too. And now we're going to make the batter for this cucumber cake. So into a large bowl, I'm going to add both of these pastes that we ground just now. To that, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of clarified butter or ghee. So I've just melted the butter, the clarified butter. Now in the meantime, just preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of elaichi powder or cardamom powder. as well as about 10 to 12 chopped up cashew nuts. And now you just have to mix everything really well together to get a nice batter. Mix this well so that the elaichi or the cardamom powder also gets nicely mixed up with the rest of the ingredients. And now I've just lined my cake tin with some butter paper. And I'm going to pour the batter into this cake tin. Now this is a 7x7 round cake tin. Then just give it a gentle tap, and now you're going to put it in your preheated oven and bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for 45 minutes. Now after 45 minutes, we're just going to do the test to see whether the cake is ready. So I'm just going to insert a knife into the cake, and if it comes out clean, that means it's ready. If yours doesn't come out clean, just put it back into the oven and bake it for about another 5 to 10 minutes. And once the cake is at room temperature, we're going to demold it, take off the butter paper, and I'm just going to turn it over to the right side. And there your beautiful cucumber cake is ready. So now we're just going to decorate it with some cashew nuts. So I've just taken the cashew nut, cut them into halves like this, and decorated the cake. Remember, we also have cashew nuts in the cake, so it makes it all the more better. And that's it, guys. Your lovely cucumber cake is all ready. So just dig in and enjoy. Delicious cake recipe which gets ready in no time. Now here I have 3 eggs. So I'm just going to whisk the eggs really well. Now you could use an electric whisk too, but you can use this regular whisk as well. So just whisk the 3 eggs really well. Next I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of milk. This makes the cake really moist and you don't get that dryish kind of texture. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. You can also add vanilla extract. Mix in this vanilla too. And now you have 3/4 cup of butter, which is at room temperature. You could also melt the butter just a little and add it. And now I'm going to mix all of these ingredients really well together. So these are our wet ingredients. So mix this really well till you get a nice smooth batter without any lumps like this. Now I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. You could also use icing sugar. So now we have our wet ingredients ready. Now let's work on the dry ingredients, which are just 2 ingredients. So here I have 1 1/4 cup of flour. To that I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now this would be a good time to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes. Now mix the baking powder into the flour really well. And now we're just going to add these dry ingredients a little at a time to the wet ingredients and just fold it in using a spatula like this. Use the cut and fold method. That way you'll get a lovely light and spongy cake. And now I've just lined my baking tin with some parchment paper, and I've just poured the batter into it. Just going to smoothen it out a bit. And then we're going to bake this for at 180 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. And look how beautiful the cake has come. Now let it cool to room temperature, and then you're just going to cut it up into whatever slices you want. Now you can insert the knife and just do the test whether it's ready. And you saw that my knife has come out completely clean. So this is a lovely tea time snack. We can have it with a lovely cup of tea or coffee. And I've just cut it up into smaller pieces like this. And I'll just show you the texture. It's so amazing. And it's really nice and soft and spongy. So I hope you do give this recipe a try. If you really feel like just having a plain cake without any icing or any, no big hassle of preparing this cake, this is the ideal cake to go to. Thank you so much for watching, guys. let's see this delicious ribbon cake. Now here I have 4 egg yolks and 4 egg whites separated. This is 250 grams or quarter kilo or quarter kg of flour, plain flour or all-purpose flour or maida. This is 250 grams of powdered sugar, which I'm just going to grind to a very fine powder in my mixer. This is 1 teaspoon each of vanilla essence and of baking powder. Next we have 100 grams of butter at room temperature and 1/4 cup of drinking soda. That is the soda that you get, which you can make lemonade with or just plain drinking soda. So I'm going to start by beating the egg whites till they're nice and fluffy and stiff. So this will take you about 5 to 7 minutes. With an electric mixer, it might take a little longer with a normal hand mixer. Now to another bowl, I'm going to add the egg yolks and I'm going to add half of the powdered sugar first, and I'm just going to whisk the mixture well. And then I'm going to add the other half too, and we're going to beat this or whisk this till the mixture is nice and creamy and thick. So this too should take you about 7 to 10 minutes or lesser than that, just that everything gets well incorporated together. So beat this mixture really well or whisk it really well. Now I'm going to add the vanilla essence, whisk it in well, and then I'm also going to add the baking powder and continue whisking. Now I'm going to add the butter. Now if the butter is at room temperature, it will help because it will help you to whisk the butter in well. So keep the butter out for about, if you tend to keep it in the fridge, then keep it out for about at least for half an hour to 45 minutes till it nicely softens up. And now again whisk everything. The reason we are whisking everything is we want everything to really get well mixed up together or well incorporated. And now we're going to add the beaten whites, the nice fluffy beaten up whites. Again whisk it. This will make our cake very nice and light and airy and delicious as well. And we just have one more ingredient to complete our cake batter, and that is the drinking soda. So just pour that in and now again mix it well, and you'll see that you get a lovely creamy batter. We still have to add the flour, guys. So first mix this mixture well, and then we just have to add our plain flour. So now I'm going to add the flour a little at a time and just fold it in. Now we're not going to use the whisk anymore. I'm going to use my spatula, and I'm going to just fold the mixture in. You can use the cut and fold method. As you can see, you cut and then just stir. And now add the remaining flour and fold it in really well. And you can see now that our cake batter is all ready, so we can start making this beautiful ribbon cake. So I'm going to divide this into 5 equal portions. So one is going to be plain, and then you can add colors of your choice. Now I like adding pastel gel colors because it gives a very beautiful look to the cake. So if you can get your hands on some lovely pastel colors, that will make the cake very pretty. So just add the color and mix it in well. So I went with the really pale green, then some lovely yellow, and I think a little bit of pink and a little bit of sky blue or baby blue. The blue really made the cake look really beautiful. It just, makes the cake stand out, or the colors stand out, pop up. So the pink is a little bit bright, but it complements the other paler shades. And then I had this little blue, and it looks really gorgeous once you mix it in really well. And now I've lined my cake tin, which is a 7 by 7 inches cake tin, a square tin. I'm going to start by adding the plain color batter without any color. And you're just going to flatten it out to the base. Then I'm going to go with the next color. You can go in with whatever sequence you want. So you add the color, and again you just flatten it up like this. Basically you're making layers with different colors. And just pat it down every time. And don't forget to preheat your oven at this time to 180 degrees Celsius or 356 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. And once you've added all the layers, you're just going to smoothen up the cake, the top layer. And just pat it down a bit. And then you're going to use a nice pointed instrument. So I'm using a nice sharp pointed knife, and you're just going to swirl it like this, in this fashion, trying to make some S's like this. So you can use a pointed knife, you can use a skewer. This will give you a lovely pattern to the cake once you cut up the cake, and you'll see in the video. And now all we have to do is pop it into our preheated oven and bake it at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. Now each oven is different, so just keep an eye on your cake. And once you get this lovely top brown layer, you know your cake is ready. And we're just going to do a test by just inserting a sharp knife. And when the knife comes out clean, you know that your cake is all ready. If it is not, then just put it again into the oven for another 4 or 5 minutes. And now let the cake completely cool down before you demold it. That's very important. Don't be in a hurry to cut the cake up. And then you can just take out the parchment paper and cut it up into half like this. And then you'll see the beautiful design that the cake has got. It's just lovely. So I made it into 2 equal loaves like this, and then I'm just going to cut up thin slices. And what I love about this cake is that no 2 slices look the same. Each slice has a different pattern, a different color combination, so that's really nice. And the cake is delicious too. It's nice and light and airy. So I hope you give this recipe a try, guys. I'll catch you soon. This is Akshata signing off. Bye.
As well as today's video, and if you would like to see more videos like this, then don't forget to leave this video a big thumbs up. Also, by clicking the thumbs up icon. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and become a part of Akshata's Recipes. Once you have subscribed, there is a small little bell icon that will pop up, so just click on that. That way, whenever I put up a new recipe or a new video, you'll get a message for the same. So on that note, I'll say bye, and I'll catch you in my next video sooner than you think. This is Akshata saying bye. Take care, stay healthy, stay fit, be kind and loving to one another. So till we meet again, bye.